Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be Game 2 of Sparkyz versus STX Seoul in Round 2 of the 9-10 Pro League season. Week 13 of Sparkyz cast here, and we are going to have HoGil versus Cal. So this ought to be a crazy matchup. These both are rather crazy players, and I'm expecting to see something completely out of control going on. This is going to be HoGil here as the brown Zerg in the eastern position, versus Cal as the Teal Protoss player in the western position. Cal is a player that I really like. He's one of my favorite Protoss players just because he is, well, he's pretty unpredictable, and he always just comes up with cute little things that you wouldn't expect, and really, it's always entertaining to watch him. Usually entertaining to watch him. Unfortunately, he hasn't been succeeding quite in the way he has in the past, but he is doing incredibly well this season, actually. Or wait, no. Actually, my notes are completely weird, so I'm not even gonna... Let me double check on his stats. I wrote down two different numbers for Cal, and I'm not sure which one of those were true. It looks like, yes, 3-3 this season. I think 9-5 was his last season record, so 9-5 being pretty excellent, pretty good, and just 3-3 this season. And all of those 3 losses this season were against pretty good Zerg. Oh, I see what I'm seeing here. This is 3-3 against Zerg. Haha, and those 3 were against pretty good Zerg, which I would not necessarily categorize HoGil as. He is a little bit weak. However, HoGil is, statistically speaking, ridiculously dominant against Protoss players. Just to give you a comparison, HoGil's overall win percentage is 43, but his Zerg versus Protoss is a pretty astounding 73% win rate. So HoGil is like at least he ought to be some sort of magical Zerg versus Protoss sniper. And, you know, I'm really glad that they're actually playing him as that role in this matchup rather than putting him in Zerg versus Zergs, which he is not so great at. So, yeah, and this way it also, you know, prevents someone like Lita, who has been struggling severely against Protosses this season, well, and in general, I suppose, but particularly this season, just cannot find a win against Protosses. You know, if HoGil can step up in that respect and destroy some Protosses for Sparkyz, then Sparkyz will be in a much more comfortable position all around. Forge first, fast expand here coming for Cal, very standard, and he's going for 2 cannons. So conceding 2 cannons, it looks like that was probably a 9 pool from HoGil. I'm not 100% positive on that. It might have been a 12 pool. It might have been an overpool into expansion as well. I'm not positive. I wasn't really paying attention to that because I was trying to figure out what my notes meant for Cal. But regardless, this is going to be moving on into a later game, and we're going to see if HoGil, who is likely to transition into Mutalisks after this, if he's going to be successful in doing any harassment with those Mutalisks. In the previous game, if you haven't watched it, go watch it, because I'm about to spoil it. You know, Type B going for very early economy against Calm, who is going for very quick tech, trying to get his Mutalisks out very quickly. You know, Type B did a very good job of defending for a little while, but Calm really showed what Zerg is supposed to do with their first Mutalisks. He kept them alive and was able to do little bits of damage where he could for a long time, and eventually that group of Mutalisks massed up, and he was able to do devastating amounts of damage without taking too many losses. So Zerg really needs to use their mobility and their early Mutalisks to do a lot of damage without incurring any, because honestly, going for very quick Mutalisks in the way that Calm did is a risky strategy that is costly. This is not going to be nearly as costly for HoGil because he is going for 3 bases immediately. He might be going for that Neo-Sauron build, which is so popular on at least the old Heartbreak Ridge. This is the new Heartbreak Ridge, and you know, I still haven't seen what I want to see out of this map, which is exactly what I think we're going to be getting here, which is Neo Sauron versus a Protoss that is playing pretty standard. And we are going to see if the changes in New Heartbreak Ridge will actually affect this matchup at all. Cal going in, trying to get an extra scout. HoGil just content to let that scout walk directly into his natural, but not letting him get all the way into the main to see any of the tech. I haven't seen any of the tech either, but if he is going for that Neo Sauron build, he should have his Spire ready and Mutalisks on the way, and he should have his Hydralisk Den out to make some more Hydralisks in the very near future. The Neo Sauron build, if you are unaware, is generally 3 bases and eventually 5 hatcheries on those 3 bases. It starts with Mutalisks to do a little bit of harassment, and in particular do High Templar sniping while you go for mass Hydralisks. That is the Sauron aspect of the Neo Sauron build, is the huge amounts of Hydralisks that you build. Templar Archives going down for Cal, so once again going pretty much what you'd expect, Forge First Fast Expand into Templar of some sort. His Corsairs are building. His first Corsair is out, probably going to be able to snipe off at least one Overlord and get a good scout out of HoGil's base. So Cal should be fully prepared for this build, because he's going to be able to see it completely right now. The Spire just finished, so I imagine Mutalisks, maybe a couple of Scourge coming out to try to deal with the early Corsairs. And hopefully for HoGil, he'll be able to pop out a couple of Scourge right now. Oh yeah, right as that Corsair is over the hatchery, and be able to get a quick kill. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The Scourge taking an extra half a second too long, and that Corsair's been able to run away. It looks like at least 4 Mutalisks and a handful of Scourge coming out right now. And HoGil is going to press the attack. A couple cannons going down around the mineral lines for Cal, so pretty well defended at the beginning. And I have not seen yet, it looked like HoGil has already put down his 4th and probably his 5th hatchery, but I haven't seen his Hydralisk Den. I'm assuming that that has been built already, or maybe it's being built right now. The first Mutalisk attacks is actually doing very well. He's getting a lot of probe kills over here at the natural expansion, keeping those Corsairs at bay with the threat of Scourge. The Scourge finally get killed by the cannons, so that harassment is going to be able to stop, but killing almost half of the probes that were on there. And this is actually going to be a Bisu build coming from Cal. He is building Dark Templar and is sending them across the map. He's trying to sneak them up into the 3rd base in the northeast corner for HoGil, but HoGil is well defended. He has Hydralisk in the area and an Overlord sitting over his base. The Bisu build really doesn't succeed if those Corsairs aren't able to kill large groups of Overlords, which has been prevented. Only one Overlord, the Overlord that was sitting on top of Cal's base, has been killed so far. So HoGil has detection all over his bases. He's in good position. He has Hydralisk, which he is starting to mass, and we are going to see if Cal is going to be able to weather this storm. And in particular, he needs to weather it with his own storms. His first High Templar coming out now. He's got 3. He's huddling them around that cannon over in his natural expansion, so those Mutalisks can't quite get to them yet. But so far, those Mutalisks have been relatively unharassed by the Corsairs, getting a few more probe kills right now. This is really good. He's doing huge amounts of economic damage, so this is going to be really tough for Cal to build enough of an army to defend against this. And I feel like the longer this goes, the more of a lead HoGil is cementing right now. Because meanwhile, while he's doing this harassment, he hasn't had to build any extra Mutalisks. It's still pretty much just that original group of Mutalisks that he's been using right now. And he's just getting tons and tons of kills. I wish we could go through the stack of Mutalisks and tally up all of the kills that he's made to see exactly how many. But I've got to assume that it's at least 10 kills, 10 probe kills on those Mutalisks so far. It looks like one of those DTs got a kill somewhere, maybe sniping off a Hydralisk that was too far away from an Overlord. But like I was saying, since HoGil's not really having to reinforce in terms of Mutalisks, all of his efforts are just being built into massing Hydralisks, and he's also going into Lurker Tech, it looks like. So not going for the straight Sauron all-in Hydralisk sort of build. He is going a little bit higher tech and putting down Mutalisk. It looks like a robotics facility is just now